Crumpets content here, y'all. aka Jimmy J, aka J Legend, aka the best in business. I'm here talking about one thing: the Eagles signed another edge rusher, and two, can the Eagles repeat? That's gonna be our topics. Let's start with the Eagles signing the edge rusher Ogle. There's Ogle Alga Kui. I think that's his name. Butchered his name, but yeah, the Eagles just signed him first day of training camp that started this week. So, but yeah, he played on a few teams. He played on the Browns. He played on I think the 49ers, the Raiders, I think he did. But he's been on a few teams. Then the Panthers. But they've been on a few teams. Now he's with the Eagles. And he could play 3-4 and 4-3, so he could play multiple fronts, so he'd fit in just fine. That's the type of guy he want. He's a player that they got drafted in 2018. I think he might have got drafted with the Browns. I think he got drafted. Yeah, I think he might have got drafted with the Browns or the Chargers. I think he might have been with the Chargers. But yeah, he got drafted in 2018, and he's the type of guy that had his. He's been getting at least 2 or 3 sacks. Average 2 sacks. I think his sack high was but in 2023 when he got 5 sacks, and I think it was like 12 TFLs. That was his career high. But he's a rotational guy that could get to the quarterback. I think he's gonna fit in nice with what we got going on. Because he's a good pickup. Veteran guy, been in the league like 6 years. Yeah, he's like 28. No, he probably like 30. Yeah, he probably is like about 30. Almost 30, 29, about to be 30. Yeah. But he was a good pickup. I like him as a nice rotational piece if he makes the roster. The Eagles this year, they trying to get a lot of guys like the cheap guys with high upside to fill out the roster, and that's the guys that we rolling with. I think we kind of deep on the defensive line now. I think we're gonna have like a 5-man rotation. But you gonna see Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith get most of the snaps. But you want to see most of them get most of the snaps, but I believe the Eagles they did a good job, and I think we'd be just fine at the pass rusher a corner and safety. Yeah, that's the real questions. I think we're gonna be fine in the defensive line. But we just have to see how everything works out, how the ball falls, how everything really goes down. Yeah, the Eagles right now, they right now winning on all cylinders right now. They clicking on all cylinders right now, getting in the training camp, getting on training camp. But we need to see they clicking on training. We get back into shape. See who gonna make the roster. Who gonna fill out the roster right now in training camp. But we right now on the road to get back to see if the Eagles actually gonna compete. But right now, filling out these gaps in the roster, like getting a guy like OG Ukwa is a start. Because I believe we're going to be straight in the defensive line. I think that's our strength. And everybody was talking about getting rid of Noah Smith. I was like, that been a monster bad move. Well, we would like getting him for a guy that's 30 years old on his last deal. That it didn't make sense. People got to just say stuff that makes sense because people like in this era they just saying a whole bunch of dumb stuff that don't make sense, and they saying stuff that yeah, they going against stuff that has already been proven. Like you got a guy like Noah Smith that did it last year that played. You got you like Dan said, whoa, he didn't play the whole season. I said he didn't. He actually technically did play the whole season, but he had to be a starter the whole season. To know that he could produce as a starter. Yeah, he had 6.5 sacks coming off the bench, and then when he finally got in there, he produced as a starter. People like to say stuff that don't make sense and that sound dumb, and I'm kind of like tired of these people. Cause I'm in a results oriented business. Like you saying stuff, but I already seen you got results from it. Yeah, that means you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, know what you're talking about. You if you seen if people got the results already proved that they already did it already, it don't at that point in time. What you saying? If you're a person that's a naysayer, you just at that point in time just don't. You're just delusional. You just don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, because if it's already been done, it don't matter what a hater say after that. That's no different. That's no different than somebody trying to speak on and they're doing business and they don't know nothing about business. But you got these people that's in sports, like these reporters and all that say goofy stuff all day, but don't know what they talking about. They sat there and said Jalen Hurts ain't in the top five quarterback, even though he got top five numbers. Yeah. Oh, he ain't go for 4,000 passes. That don't matter if he won a Super Bowl. And they were talking about his numbers being pedestrian. Like, dude, your numbers is not going to be. You're not going to have 30 passing touchdowns if you have a 2,000-yard back. That don't even make sense. And they didn't need Jalen Hurts to do that last year. But Jalen Hurts had a 119 quarterback rating, and he was crazy efficient. He threw for 65% of his passes. He completed 65% of his passes. That type of stuff matters. But you only threw six interceptions and completed 65. That matters. You sitting there throwing for 4,000 passing yards, but you only got like 55% completion percentage. No, you threw your team out of games. Yeah, you threw your team out of games. Yeah, you got 4,000. You threw for 4,000 passing yards, but your team lost because you threw them out of games. That type of stuff matters. That type of stuff matters. And click to the next subject. Can we repeat? Yes, I believe the Eagles can repeat. They definitely can repeat. Everything we get the defense together where we're clicking on offense and defense by the end of the season. Yeah, we can repeat. We get through this first. We get through the first 5 6 games, and we come out at least 4-1 going into yeah, we're good. At least coming up either 5-0 or 4-1, we're good. We're not losing after that. Yeah, I don't see us losing any games after maybe one game after that. After this first 5 game stand. Yeah, after that we get through that. We just got to get through these first 5 games. Because we got a brutal schedule. But I still think we can win 14 to 3 games. I don't think even with that schedule, I still think we only gonna lose 3 games throughout the whole season. We're gonna have to do a lot of bully ball and then hit it with the head with the play action. But outside of that, I see we winning a lot of games. A lot of games. A lot of games. But you're gonna see the Eagles we continue to play their style, but I don't see them going away from that. They're gonna probably up the passing. You probably gonna it's probably gonna be more balanced. Yeah, because we gotta have a more balanced attack. But yeah, Eagles, they could repeat. It ain't gonna be easy, but they can repeat. We had to weather the storm for the first 5, 6 games. We'll be back in the playoffs, and there's no way in the world we shouldn't win the division. But I don't see the Commanders. To me, the Commanders got worse. Yeah, they should have traded for the dude from Seattle, but they didn't. The Steelers got him, the wide receiver from Seattle. Me and Metcalf. Yeah, they did DK Metcalf. They didn't get. They chose not DK Metcalf. They chose not to get DK Metcalf. Well, that's the move they decided not to make, but it was a bad move. With the rather bad move the Commander did. But the Eagles still got a lot of work to do, but they can repeat. They ain't make no bad moves like the Commander. The Commander got old. They should have got DK Metcalf. That's a receiver they should got. They should not. They got Debo. That was a terrible move. And they should have got a little younger so we could compete with the Eagles. They should have stacked up with O line, D line. That's what they should have did. Cause they got both. They didn't make the right moves. They just got old. But that's why I said the Commanders. I think the Commanders gonna take a step back, but they still gonna probably be a playoff team. But they gonna take yeah, cause they got older. They took on a lot of salary, 22 million. I would got a DK Metcalf for that rate. I got DK Metcalf, add some O linemen, D line, improve my secondary. But that's not what the community Commanders got worse. And the Cowboys didn't get no better. Yeah. The best thing they could do is trade Michael Parsons. And they not winning with Michael Parsons. I would just trade him. Their defense ain't good with him. Yeah. They only won 8 games. And that's what I would have did. I'm not mad at them for not trading CD Lamb because they still needed a receiver. But they got Pickens. They got George Pickens. But they need a running back. They did draft a running back, but they probably should have got like two running backs in the draft. But Eagles could have, yeah, but like I said, Cowboys could have easily addressed their situation, but they didn't. Cowboys gonna be an 8-8 team or 8-9 team again. They're only getting like 7 8 wins again this year. They might be worse, but we just gonna have to see how everything goes, and they most likely gonna lose the first game of the season. They're terrible. But this is the Crown with your Com team. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Oh, and I forgot to say about the Giants. They gonna be trash too. You know they drafted the quarterback, but that's basically in this show. Y'all stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.